What it do? It's me. It's that wrestling dude. I'm joined here by a three-time champion, current Thunder Mountain Super Vader champion, Battleground Wrestling Heavyweight champion, and Urban Legend Chainsaw Horror champion, Evil Nate. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get right into it. Who trained you? Where you based out of? And how many years you been at it?
So I was trained I spent a couple of months back in 2012, 2013 under Rip Rogers at OVW.
Okay.
That's when they were using OVW as a TNA developmental territory. Learned a lot, man. It was fantastic. Those 2 months was like, or 2 or 3 months, whatever it was like 2 or 3 years. It was great. Then I went and trained in San Antonio at Funaki's dojo at the time. Former WWE superstar, a guy I grew up watching. And then I trained with Rikishi, WWE Hall of Famer, out at Knox Pro in Los Angeles, California.
Damn, so you got a little bit of everything.
Got a little bit. And then I've been mentored by former Smoky Mountain heavyweight wrestling champion and WCW superstar Bobby Blaze.
Okay. Nice. What's your earliest memory of wrestling?
Man, my mom said I watched it when I was a little kid. I can't remember as a baby, but she said I had seen Hulk Hogan and stuff as a kid, as a baby. But my first memory is it's probably got to be like 97. So I'm 6 years old, depending on the month. And I just remember seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin. And for me, that was my new superhero. I put Spider-Man and Superman away, and we were off to the races, man.
Nice way to grow up, because I'm a couple years older than you, so I was like 12, 13 when Stone Cold, so grew up on the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
It was different. People didn't go through that eras, man. Does not understand how wild it was.
No, dude, you ain't lying, man. It was a magical time. So I was like 6 or 7, but I was yearning to be like your age at that time, because dude, I'd be walking in grade school, and I'd be seeing people walking around with like a Juggalo t-shirts on. And
yeah,
I was just like, what is that? That's so cool. And then I'd see Misfit t-shirts. You know, those are like always the two t-shirt styles that stand out. And then, you know, you see the DX and the NWO and Austin 316. So I was always just like focused in and paying attention to everything, because I was obsessed with everything that was going on.
That glass shattering, there's nothing not like it, man.
Man, to this day, like when I'm on the elliptical or the Stairmaster at the gym, I usually put on a Stone Cold tribute video or a Stone Cold promo, him hitting all of his moves, or like the time that he came out and just took out the entire alliance in 2001. And JR is losing his mind, and Steve Austin is just marching. JR's like, he's walking, he's talking. And then Steve Austin just comes out, he's stunning DDP, stunning Rob Van Dam, stunning Canyon. I mean, everybody's getting stunners, man. That's one of the greatest moments of all time.
Yeah, it never gets old. It never got old having him come out and just stun everybody. Every time, you still got hype when you heard that glass break and he come down and stun everybody in the ring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what was your decision that led you get into wrestling? Because like everybody watches wrestling as a kid, they all want to be a wrestler, but only a small percentage actually have like the balls to actually go do it.
So I'm a musician, and I started off playing bass, and then I transitioned to basically rhythm guitarist and, you know, a singer, writing music and stuff. And I did that from high school till I got out of high school, and really good experience. I enjoy playing music. I like it a lot, and I have a fun time. I love rock and roll. I just love. I mean, I'm not like Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin, but I'm not a musician of that caliber. I'm like, hey, let's do a rolling bass line here. Let's just have a good time. You know, let's DC it up, ZZ Top, like, you know, stuff like that. And so I'm let's have fun. Anyway, kept having different bands, and they kept falling apart because everybody found out that it's a lot of work if you want to do this. And finally I got to the point I was exhausted with it, and somebody locally told me like, hey, you know, independent wrestling, I'm going to go try it. And I was like, well, if you're going to try it, I want to get involved with this is awesome. So MySpace was a thing at the time.
Yeah.
And I added the local promotion on MySpace, shot them a message. In the state of Kentucky, we had an athletic commission. At the time, it was $20 to become a licensed wrestler. So you sent your $20 in, you got You got your license to wrestle. And then I showed up and I took my first bump and it hurt like hell. And I lay there looking up at the lights in Virgie, Kentucky. And I thought to myself, do I really want to do this? And then I said, yeah, I do want to do this. So, and I got up and did it again, and I did it again, and it hurt and it sucked, and I got nerves from doing it, but I did it, man. And so that's how I got into it, because music. I had to depend on so many undependable people for music.
Yeah.
I was like, well, F that. I'm gonna depend on myself, and I'm gonna go do this.
All right. Do you remember your top 8 for MySpace?
Man, top 8.
I'm just messing with you.
Dude, that's awesome. That's a funny question, man. When you had me, I was like, let me think. For sure, Ozzy Osbourne was in that top 8 for
there
sure.
You go.
So,
yeah. Was it easy for you? You were natural in the ring?
I'd say half and half, because I'm not. I'm not somebody like a Kurt Angle or a Brock Lesnar that just like started attacking the mat. And then two, I wasn't brought up in an area there were some good wrestlers I got to get in the ring with in that place, but then there were some that weren't so good. So I picked up some bad indie habits. So I didn't do athletics and sports in school or anything like that. I always wanted to, but I think I had a type of anxiety. Plus, I was bullied for I was a real fat kid. Like in grade school, like I was fat. I was always capital F fat, man. And I like to eat. So between being a fat kid and then like dealing with anxiety and stuff, I never got into sports or never played anything. So it was an interesting transition, but it was hard for me and easy, because I'd watched it for so long and done backyard wrestling and came up with ideals. So I'm imitating what I've seen on TV. So that part was easy, but learning why you hit the ropes, why you take a bump, why you do what you do, and putting it all together and understanding it, that took a long time for me to really get that.
Yeah, that psychology of everything. When did you realize you had bad habits? When you went to like Funaki school?
When you start, no, I knew him before I got to Funaki's. I actually found out. So I start training in 2009, October of 2009. So I'm 19 years old. I spent the next 2 years, 2010 and 11, just locally. That's it. I was just local. And then I started traveling down about 2 hours away from my hometown to another place that's kind of close to Lexington, Kentucky. Like it's right outside of Lexington, Kentucky. And I started working there, and then I got an invitation to go to Rip Rogers' advanced class in OVW. And when I got there, that's when I realized, I don't even know how to get thrown over the top rope. I don't even, I do have some bad indie habits. And going to his advanced class, and there was Jesse Goddard was in the class, he was just breaking in at the time. I know he's on OVW, did a stint in TNA back in the day. Rob Terry, the Freak, he was signed to TNA at the time. He was in my class. Taylor Hendricks, she was in my class. The Outrunners, one of the Outrunners was in my class at that time, and he was so cool, man. Shiloh, he was man, and that one that was Truth Magnum. Yeah, Truth Magnum. So Truth Magnum from the Outrunners was in my OVW class. Fantastic dude. Chris Silvio, who's done stuff with NWA. All these fantastic guys, man.
Yeah.
And just being around them and realizing I do have some bad indie habits. So by the time I got to Funaki fixed my lockup. My lockup was a bad indie habit. He fixed it.
Okay. Do you remember what was the worst habit to break?
Probably I think the worst habit to break is trying to do every match. Don't try to do like an indie match. Try to do every match kind of like you're working for the camera, still play to the crowd and stuff, and don't speed through everything. Different indie habits can be footwork. I have that. Sometimes I still hit the ropes kind of weird. What I mean by that is not how I lean into it or anything like that, but I might get a little too happy foot with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Too many steps when I don't need to take that many steps, or I'd got real self-conscious of my headlock takeovers. So I maybe would snatch a headlock, and not have it the correct way, correct posture and stuff. It was just things like that. So nothing in particular. And I think for me, the worst indie habit to break was probably just trying to approach it as an actual contest, as an actual fight,
Yeah.
and not just trying to get your, as they say, get your shit in.
Get your
So,
shit in.
yeah.
Okay. Got a quick question for you on Facebook. Nelson Lowry, you ever wrestle any WWE guys?
I mean, legends. Yeah, I wrestled. I worked with Coco Beware in San Antonio, Texas, at a place called RCW. Fantastic. I got the main event with him. I didn't feel like I was very good at the time, but it was an experience. They put me in the ring with the Powers of Pain, Barbarian and Warlord.
Okay.
That was fun. They put me in the ring down there also with Tatanka. So those are, you know, technically all WWE guys I got to get in there and dance
absolutely.
with. I got to work with, let's see, anybody. I'm trying to think anybody specifically.
I just saw you did some. He wasn't a WWE guy. But I saw you did some stuff with Vampiro recently too.
With who?
Vampiro.
Oh yeah, Vampiro. I just went out to that was, dude. That's probably the coolest guy I've got to get in the ring with. But I mean, I got to go up to. He's not a WWE guy either, but I got to work Tommy Wildfire Rich at the ECW arena for Battleground Championship Wrestling. So, that was a double whammy for me. It's like I'm standing in the middle of this historic arena, and like I second or third match, and I'm getting to go out there and dance with an NWA World's Champion.
Yeah.
So, and I took it in, dude. You can go back and watch the footage. And like I come out, I swing my chainsaw and stuff and my mask on, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, dude, hell yeah. So I'm really taking in those moments. Like that's what I try to do now. I try to really take in every moment. So yeah, Tommy Wildfire Rich. I got to work with Hernandez. I love Hernandez. He's another guy that's a mentor to me in this. I've done a lot of work with him, worked for him a lot. Vampiro was a treat, dude. That was so neat. I've got to, just think, people like that. So technically, I have worked with some WWE guys. So yeah.
There you go. Who'd you break in as initially?
What is it?
What'd you initially break in as?
My my original name and gimmick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So original thing I broke in as was this is how I set it up too. So I wanted to be called Nate Cross. That's what I wanted to do. So I was like, I need a secondary name that's worse than that, so they'll let me go with that. So me and my friends, we were always joking and stuff. Like one of my friends, he came up to me at the time. He's like, dude, you should go by Lance Lanigan, the Rock and Roll Renegade. I said, I'm going to keep that. I like that. Lance Lanigan. So we're sitting in the locker room. It's my first night after training I just told you about. They had me go out and do a referee job that night, which was easy. And they were like, what do you want to be called? I was like, well, I got a couple of names in mind. And I was like, the first name, what do you think about Lance Lanigan? And I could tell they didn't like that. And I was like, all right, hell yeah. And I was like, well, man, I got this other name. I don't know about it. Nate Cross, They're like, yeah, I think we're going to go with that one. And I was like, yeah.
Got him.
So that was it. Like, because my real name's Nathaniel, Nathan. Then my friends would always call me Nate. I was like, well, screw it. I'll go by Nate Cross. And then that morphed into the modern day Miracle, Nate Cross, which was just this little baby face that would come out in his trash bag pants, didn't know what he was doing, but the crowd was always behind him. And then I ended up turning into Nate Cross, the Rock and Roll Revolution, and I was a front man. I came out with a microphone stand, I had scarves on it. I'd cut my promos like Steven Tyler. I was always a heel, man, with that gimmick. I did that for a very long time and rocked that gimmick. I'd have a security guard come out, set the mic up for me, go, test. Like, okay, we're good. My music would hit. I'd come out, cut my promo, and I would do the whole thing. Like my promos, they'd always start out like, baby, yeah. That's how they'd always start out. And I'd be like, you wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest front man in the land. Wrestling's only rock star. The not so typical, ain't never been hypocritical. So far from fictional, they call me the modern day Miracle. So I would do that. And
that's awesome.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I have a lot of fun running my mouth. That's my favorite part of wrestling. But I did that for a long time, and so that was my first my whole first thing. So
what's the story behind the Evil Nate with the chainsaw and everything?
So my partner in this business, she's been on this ride with me for 12, 13 years at this point. Black Dahlia, you know her, Chainsaw Queen, Scream Queen. She's been a driving force behind this. Shout out to her. She's been out in Vegas all week, killing it out there for Mania weekend and stuff. Very proud of her. So when we were training out at Knox Pro in LA under Keish, we were coming up with gimmicks and stuff. And it's something this is something we talked about a couple years prior, and it's something I'd always thought about because I love Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah.
It played by Terry Funk, and then I found out Kirshner was the first Leatherface in Japan. And I'm not a big deathmatch guy, but I love the presentation of the Leatherface wrestling character. And then I know Patterson played him, and then now Tony Myers plays him from New Jersey. Tony's the current Leatherface over in Japan, and I love Tony. I get along with him great, fantastic guy. So I've always wanted to do something like that, and her and I, we talked about it for a long time. So when I was out there, I noticed how I used to run from if you guys can't tell, I got a hillbilly accent. I know, surprise. Like it's, not noticeable at all, but I've got a very thick Appalachian Southern accent because I'm from the mountains of Eastern Kentucky. That's a shoot. Yeah. Like I've lived in hollows, or as they say back there, hollers.
Hollers.
I've lived beside guys that made moonshine in their backyard. I mean, I lived in log cabins. You name it, I've done it all except for have sex with my first cousin. Like I've done like 90% of the entire Southern stereotype. You know what I mean?
All right.
So I used to run from that. I used to, that's why Nate Cross was from Detroit Rock City. He was the rock and roll revolution. But I would run from I guess I was embarrassed. I'm not sure, but I would run from my culture of being a hillbilly.
Yeah.
Because I would take offense to being called a hillbilly, or I would take offense to being like, you talk funny. Like, yeah, I know I do, whatever. But when I got out to LA, I was, and we were especially at Rikishi School, Knox Pro, specifically the Samoan heritage, like how they embraced that, man. They embraced being from the islands. They embraced their culture. And I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome, and it's like, oos this, oos that. And I was like, all right. And then I start, Dolly and I, Paige, we're talking and stuff. I said, that chainsaw gimmick, I've always wanted to do it. I said, but there's two ways we can do this. I said, when you think of hillbillies, you think of one or two things. You think of like a hillbilly Jim, the Godwins, things like that. I said, but on the other hand, you think of the backwoods inbred serial killer. I mean, that's what you think of. Like, don't take a wrong turn. There's a movie called Wrong Turn in West Virginia. Literally, I wrestle in West Virginia all the time. So I was like, I'm going to go that route. I said, but instead of being just straight Leatherface ripoff, I want to play homage to Leatherface. And I'm going to put my own spin on it. And I said, I'll be the Killbilly. I'll be the urban legend. I'll be the backwoods buzzsaw. And she was like, yeah, the urban legend, that's a good idea. She said, you could add to it. And you could wear Sasquatch skin. You could wear extraterrestrial skin. And I was like, oh my God, I can wear Mothman skin. This is a great idea. So we added that element in it because we both love cryptozoology, of me wearing alien skin, Sasquatch, Mothman skin. And then I was like, well, there's one thing I got to do to stand out. I said, because anybody can go to any hardware store and pick up a chainsaw. I said, but in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, Leatherface carries a big ass golden chainsaw that his brother gifts him. And I remember years ago seeing guys online that would make these and sell these chainsaws. I said, I've always wanted one anyway, so this is the perfect time to buy one. And during COVID, man, when we were dealing with her CRPS, we didn't know that's what she had at the time. But as we took a break from wrestling, and during that time, I repackaged myself, and we came up with what we came up with. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be the Killbilly, Evil Nate. And the whole shtick is when the mask is on, I'm completely different. When the mask comes off, I'm me.
Yeah. Because that's the thing in wrestling is, that's what I was thinking. Hillbilly was always just cartoony. There was really no serious, tough ass hillbilly kind of guy.
Yeah. And it's okay to be cartoony. I ain't got a problem with that, man.
Yeah.
I would do a cartoon hillbilly gimmick just like that, especially if they were paying me. Like, all right, let's go. That's cool. Yeah. I'll be Hillbilly Jim's son. I don't give a shit. Yeah. Let's do it. I think it's because when I specifically started getting out and traveling outside of Eastern Kentucky more, and getting outside of those mountains, and something I used to be so, I don't know, I guess embarrassed by, it makes me different. And that's what wrestling's all about. You want to stand out. And also now, I mean, for instance, I just brought up the ECW arena. When I walked out in the ECW arena, at the end of last year, they announced me from Wrong Turn, which is what I added to it, but Pikeville, Kentucky. And that's where I'm from. And I don't know if anybody, if that town's name has ever been uttered in the ECW arena. You know what I'm saying? So everywhere I'm going, like when I just wrestled out in Arizona, like in Fort Huachuca. I don't even know how you say it, but it's out in Sierra Vista. Like I wrestled out there, man. Wrong turn, Pikeville, Kentucky. I wrestled down right beside the Mexican border at what's it called? I think Davidson, Arizona. I can't. It's something like that. But from wrong turn, Pikeville, Kentucky. So I represent. You know, whether they like it or not, I think some people don't like it, but I represent Eastern Kentucky when I'm going out here and wrestling. So,
no, because you imagine no one's even heard of Eastern Kentucky really, wouldn't even know what anything about it. So it's smart separating yourself by that. And you figure you're from there, so you don't really think it's different until you start leaving out and start realizing, they've never seen your kind before. A lot of people.
No, well, they've never been there too. A lot of people, man. Like, so I grew up literally in the mountains. It wasn't flatlands. It wasn't, our closest city was, like, actual city was either Lexington, Kentucky, or Huntington, West Virginia, and those were 2 hours away. And the biggest thing we had in those mountains was a Walmart. I mean, now at this point, it's developed like crazy back there because I still go back there and wrestle from time to time. I go back and wrestle for a little company called Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. Best promotion in Kentucky, in my opinion. They're so good, one of the best at least. And the way it's just advanced in the past 10 years. But yeah, there's a lot of people as I started getting out traveling. When I went to Texas, man, the rednecks in Texas, I'm different than the rednecks in Texas. I'm a hillbilly from Kentucky. When I go and wrestle in certain parts of Tennessee, I'm different than the hillbillies in Tennessee.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. And when Dolly was doing her signing up in at the Wrestling Universe store up in Queens, New York, a couple years ago, I'm the only one up there, man. I'm with her. I'm the only one that has this accent that's from those mountains. And people are looking at me when I'm talking. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm a hillbilly. It's good, man. Don't worry.
Yeah. What's been your favorite moment so far?
Man, just I guess just like getting to like bring some of this stuff to life. You know what? This is what I'll say. I've got a couple different favorite moments, but one of my favorite moments is I just referenced Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. So I'm really close with the man that portrayed Leatherface in that film. His name is R.A. Mihailoff. And R.A. actually has a background. He trained to be a wrestler at one point. Like he was around John Cena when he trained. And R.A. never got to go wrestle or anything like that I know of. I don't know what all he got to do. I haven't really talked to him about it, but I get to represent. I feel like I get to represent him every time I go out because like he signed my chainsaw. He's used my chainsaw every year at Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky, one of the greatest horror cons in the world. So he's really solidified. And like, I get to be the son of Leatherface now. Like we did a photo op this year to where like he's basically like passing on the torch to me where I get to go do this,
Nice.
So that's like, so if you could go back in time and tell 13-year-old me, like, bro, you're going to get paid to travel and wrestle. You're going to get to wrestle guys that you've seen on TV. You're going to get to be in places that you've seen on TV. You're going to get to be around. You're going to get some of your ideas are going to get to come to life. You're going to be close with, and I'm close with a couple of Leatherfaces too. Shout out to Brett Wagner from the remake. But you're going to be friends with these guys, and you're going to consider them family, man. And just like that, and then getting to do things with my best friend Dahlia, like going all over and watching. Like that's another one of my proudest moments is her fighting CRPS. But this past year, dude, her coming back and giving stunners and taking DDTs and giving spears and coming out swinging. She's the first woman in professional wrestling to swing a chainsaw. She's the first. Like, she's the first chainsaw girl in pro wrestling. That's her claim to fame. She was the first. She carried it out to ECW Arena, passed it off to me, She did it in Arizona. Like, so just seeing her do that, that's been my favorite moment. Being representing Ari Mihailoff, who plays Leatherface as I come out, that's been a favorite moment. Sharing the ring with, legends like a Tommy Wildfire Rich, having Vampiro willingly take my finisher and sell it.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to fight Vampiro all over that gymnasium. Like we're chopping each other, and like that's crazy, man. Because I remember watching him on WCW.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, just the whole thing, like, because I'm at a point now to where I do just try to stop, embrace everything, because I tell you what, man, I just said this earlier today to Paige. I was talking to her where she's still out in Vegas, and there's a guy at the gym. And I don't talk a lot to people at the gym because I'm there to get my stuff done, and but some people will talk to me, and I'm not rude or anything. But this older guy, he stopped me one day. He pulled me to the side. We were bitching. We were just talking, and he was like, "Hey, don't ever let anyone waste your time." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Listen, you can waste money, like money." He said, "You can always get money back. You can rob somebody and get money back." He said, "But your time, you can never get your time back." He said, "You can never steal it back. You can never rob that from that. You can't get your time back." And I said, "Damn." So I've kept that, man. I've kept that. And so I try to like take in everything.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
What's the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie?
Oh, man. I love them all. Of course, we're going to go with the original, 1974. We just celebrated 50 years. But if we're going to take that out of the picture, and if we're going to talk about sequels, it's always going to be a tie-up for me between Part 3, which is the one I represent, and actually Part 4, the one a lot of people hate, that has Leatherface in a dress and Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
I like that one.
Dude, that movie, I love that movie. Like, I've collected so many things now. My goal actually is, Steve Austin's ex-wife, Deborah Michael, she's in that movie.
Oh, really?
So there's a part when Renee Zellweger's stuffed in the back of the car, and I think the woman's name is Darla. Darla stops to go get pizza, and there's two cops. And the male cop gets out, and he's flirting with her. Well, the female cop that's with him, that's Deborah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so my goal is I want to meet her at a convention, because I got a bunch of stuff signed by, like, Kim Henkel, who wrote and directed Part 4, but he also co-wrote Part 1 with Tobe Hooper.
Okay.
But I want to meet Deborah and get her to sign my stuff. I got Kim Henkel to sign, because I want to talk to her about, how'd you get this role?
Yeah.
That's what I want to ask her. What was the whole thing that you got this role? Because this had to be at the same time she was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Like, it had to be, or right before, because that film, I think they filmed it in 93, 94, and then they released it 96, 97, something like that, because there was a whole thing with it. But anyway, yeah, I love Part 4. I love it a lot.
All right.
Actually, really quick too, my theme music that I come out to right now, it's called Mother by Push Monkey. It's featured in that movie. The part when Leatherface is chasing Renee Zellweger through the forest. Yeah. I reached out to the band and I asked them, can I use your guys' song as my theme music? And they gave me their blessing. So,
nice.
Hell yeah.
Is that the way to go, right? Ask them beforehand?
Well, it makes it more legit, and it makes it cool, because I use Wasp's Blind in Texas, and I have no idea how to reach out to Blackie Lawless from Wasp, and I'm sure he would probably say no.
Yeah. No, but that's cool, because that way you have their blessing, like you said. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it makes it better.
Yeah, too. I mean, it's just cool because they're featured in one of my favorite Chainsaw movies, and so like it just adds more to my legacy as this son of Leatherface character that I'm portraying. Like, I'm getting as much, as much of a rub as I can. Yeah. From any of the franchise. So.
Damn. What's the most unique venue you've ever wrestled in?
Most unique? Let's see. Probably it's 2015. Are we in Eastern? No. We're in West Virginia. We're close to I think we're close to the border of Eastern Kentucky, or of Kentucky. And it used to be a middle school, and it was turned into a bar, and half of the school was shut off. Like, it was blocked off with like plastic and stuff. But then there was the bar. Let's say it was the cafeteria. Yeah, I think it was cafeteria. And I was like, man, this is the weirdest place I've ever been. And yeah, that was probably the most unique, I'd say. I can't think of anything else too crazy. I mean, I've wrestled outside. I've wrestled.
What about what's the worst? You ever wrestled somewhere you thought you're gonna get like tetanus or something?
Oh man, I'm sure I have. I absolutely sure. I'll tell you this: there was one place I worked at. I won't say its name, but we were in a cage match, and I was really excited. We're going to be because I hadn't been in a cage match in like 10 years or something. Last cage match I did was down in San Antonio, and I was like, hell yeah, I get to be in a cage match. And we show up, and I take a look, and I said, what? And it was wood with chicken wire, and I was like, okay, that's I'm not hitting the cage, so all right, I will go through that. So that was interesting, and I'm not pooping on the promotion for it because it was a very neat experience because I've read stories about territories back in the day doing stuff like that, chicken wire.
Yeah,
So
because I've seen that somewhere with chicken wire as a cage.
yeah, it's a very southern, old school territory thing. So that's when I was like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of cool. So all right, I like that. Uh, Probably, I'm trying to think. Worst venue, brother. I know I've done some. I'm trying to think, man. Like other than like just that was an interesting thing. Uh, I can't think of anything right now. If I do, I would end up messaging you and let you know.
No problem. What about the creepiest wrestler?
The creepiest wrestler I've ever met.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Or got in the ring with as well. Because I saw, I want to say Battleground, dudes in the clown mask with the creepy ass clown mask. For some reason, I think they even that was when Dahlia gave him a couple stunners too.
Yeah, Battleground Wrestling. So yeah, BGW in West Virginia. That's the title I hold right now. Their heavyweight title. Uh, that was pretty fun. We had some people dressed up as like an alien, a clown, get in the ring, and she was just handing out stunners left and right.
Yeah.
That was cool. Creepiest wrestler though, I think I've ever been in the ring with. Let's see. I mean, I'm gonna have to probably give it up to a guy that I team with pretty frequently now, Zodiac. He's pretty creepy. Good solid dude, but when he turns it on in the ring, it can be scary. So yeah, I'll go with him right now, Zodiac.
All right. Speaking of creepy wrestlers, April 26th, this Saturday, you're in Winfield, West Virginia for Battleground Wrestling's Mine Wars. You're defending your championship in a coal miner's glove match against the Monster Misery.
Yeah. Monster Misery, man. Speaking of Zodiac, he just recently beat Zodiac in a mask versus mask match. And Zodiac, after I think 20 plus years, lost his mask. So now he's out there without it. Misery's a big dude. He's close to 7 foot tall. Pretty destructive, man. He reminds you a lot of Kane. He's not to be taken lightly. He's a big dude. I can't slam him, So it's my second coal miner's glove match that I've done. The last one was out in Arizona where I beat Stud Bronson to get back my Urban Legend title and to win his Super VADER title and to retain my Battleground title and my Texas Chainsaw title that I've retired right now. So it should be a pretty hard hitting match. I probably liken it to that of Michael Myers meeting Leatherface.
All right. That's going to be a banger then. What's up for the people out there? Let them know what a coal miner's glove mask match is.
Well, coal miner's glove match, that goes back to the Mid-South Territory days, and there have been different variations of it. You can catch one, I think it was on Halloween Havoc between Sting and Jake the Snake Roberts. They did the whole spin the wheel to get the stipulation. And essentially all it is, it's a coal miner's glove is hanging on a pole, and whichever wrestler gets to it first gets to use it to beat their opponent.
Okay.
And how we did the match out in Arizona is we did a 10 count after, the opponent got knocked out. I don't know how we're going to do it this weekend. I'll find out when I get there. I've got the same coal miner's glove I used in Arizona. I'll be using out there. And the coal miner's glove is like, it's a loaded coal miner's glove. So it's just something that it's a match that I had come up with to do because nobody does them anymore.
Nope.
And I was like, well, I'm a hillbilly. My stepdad was a coal miner. Eastern Kentucky's known for coal mining. So in West Virginia, I'm over there a lot. They're known for coal mining. So let's every wrestler's got their particular specialty. They got their match. And I've been trying to come up with one for a while. I was like, I don't want to be a casket match. Everybody does that. I've lost casket matches and I've won casket matches. I said, I want to do something different, something nobody's doing. And I was like, oh, okay, coal miner's glove makes sense. So,
do they rent those caskets when you have the matches, or that someone has one? Because you figure you can't buy one and then go return it after you're done with it.
That's true. It's true. So the first casket match I ever did, I built the casket myself.
Okay.
I built it with my dad at the time. And we basically constructed it to look like the one that was used in the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match. Big ass casket. It was awesome. It was really cool. That was the first one. The second one I did, the promotion I was working for, they already had an actual casket. They just had it. And then the next time I did one, that was two. Yeah, okay. The next one that I did, it was just like, how'd they have it? It was an actual casket, I believe. Yeah, I think it was. I'll have to go back and look at the footage. I think it was an actual casket that they had.
Yeah.
And then the next one that I did, and I actually won this one. This is the only one I ever won. That was this past October in Ripley, West Virginia for Appalachian Championship Wrestling. And I beat a really talented wrestler named Nick Hamrick, handsome Nick Hamrick. And it was like a kind of a Halloween style casket, something Dracula would get in. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
So it all really just depends.
Yeah. That's wild. You show up and like, oh, we already have this casket. Here you go.
Yeah. It's funny. Wrestling's very funny, man. Yeah. It's a very funny world.
Let's see. May 3rd, you're in Fort Gay, West Virginia for Rebels Rumble.
Yes.
You know what you're doing there?
Don't know yet. I have no idea. I do know that if I retain my championships this weekend at Battleground, because I'm not only going to defend the heavyweight title, but I'm going to defend the other two, the Urban Legend and the Super Vader. But if I retain all three of those titles, I'm taking all of them and defending them the next weekend there. So I don't know yet who they're putting me in the ring with. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't even know what kind of match it's going to be. But my whole goal is to take all three of these titles that I currently have and defend them as much as I can, everywhere that I can. So now I've turned all three titles into national championships because they've been defended in Arizona. They've been defended in Ohio. They will be defended in West Virginia this weekend. So we'll see. I got a Kentucky booking coming up in a couple months. They'll be defended there. And then my goal is I want to take them international and turn them into world titles. So we'll see.
We'll see. What about May 10th? Fairly to confirmed wrestling in Arrington, Ohio. You defending one of them there if you still have them?
If you still got them, if I make it through these next 2 weekends as champion, I'm going to, we're working out the details. I've already defended them successfully there one time already. That was a really good match. Funny story about that match. There was a fan jumped in the ring at the beginning.
Really?
That never happened to me. There's a kid though, man. It's like a 10-year-old or 12-year-old kid, and I was like, I can't. There's too many cameras and too many witnesses.
Yeah, you can't kick him.
I can't hit this kid. I said, but if he attacks me, I've got to do something because otherwise my career's over with.
Yeah.
So I was like, man. So I pointed at him. I was like, you need to get out of here. And then he got out. So I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, well, if I slam this kid, I've got a new gimmick. I'm the kid slammer. And I'm going to be like Andy Kaufman. And instead of challenging women, I'm going to go to every state and challenge kids and beat up kids. That's all. There's footage of it. I'll shoot you the footage. It's very funny.
All right. You be a first of its kind going out there and challenging kids at every city you're at.
Yeah, maybe that's the gimmick I need.
You're filming the horror comedy show over the summer. What can you tell us about that?
All I know right now is they sent me the script. I did some stuff for one of the guys involved in this project. Black Dolly and I both did. We did some stuff last year with Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Anderson, and that was awesome. And I've always wanted to get into acting and utilize that, especially low budget horror. I love low budget horror. So they, the guy involved with the thing that we did with Whoop Ass, that's what it's called, Whoop Ass. Check him out. That we filmed with Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy. He hit me up and said, would you be interested in this? It's a horror comedy in the style of Evil Dead, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm playing a character in it that's like a sleazeball country music Western singer. So that's all I know right now. So,
sounds like fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah. What's the story behind the Vader belt? Because that thing looks awesome.
Yeah, that thing is, man. It's hang on. Hang on. Grab it here for you. It's so this is from Thunder Mountain Wrestling. You can see it there.
And where are they based out of?
Sierra Vista, Arizona.
Okay.
So Stud Bronson, man, which is a guy you can't take lightly in the ring. I went out a couple years ago. My Urban Legend title that I had made, I won it at Envision Pro Wrestling in Vincennes, Indiana. I'm not sure how you pronounce the town, but Envision Pro Wrestling, I won it there against a really talented wrestler named the Monster Hunter, Bo Sawyer. And what a fitting first ever, thing for the title to be crowned between me, the Urban Legend, Evil Nate, and the Monster Hunter, Bo Sawyer. So I beat Bo. Anyway, Stud Bronson challenged me. I made the trip all the way out to Arizona, defended my Urban Legend title, lost it in a fatal four-way match. And I knew there was coming a time, and I told him, I was like, hey, don't know when it'll be. Could be next month, could be next year, but there's a rematch coming. And this time it's going to be one-on-one because I didn't get pinned in the match. I actually had one guy pinned while he pinned the other guy, and the referee counted him instead of counting me. So he won my Urban Legend title. There's footage of that on my YouTube channel as well. So things led to what it, led to last month. And he had been running wild as the Urban Legend Championship. And in the promotion, Thunder Mountain Wrestling, he is their Super Vader champion. And it's basically treated, from what I understand, is it's like a Haas belt, for big dudes. It's like, it's a tribute to Leon Super Vader. And it's pretty much contested under like last man standing rules and things like that. So, I told him, I said, well, listen, I got this BGW heavyweight title. I got this Texas Chainsaw title that I won over in West Virginia also. I'll put up both of these titles. You put up my Urban Legend Championship and your new Super Vader title that you've been kicking ass with. I mean, he beat guys like Savio Vega, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And so we went out there and we did title for title. And, at the end of the night, whether people liked it or not, I walked away with all 4 belts. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Anybody out there you want to defend your titles against?
Anybody.
Yeah.
I want like I said, my goal, man, is to take them to as many states as I can. And in process of finally getting my passport, and I want to take it international. So I want to take these titles and defend them against anybody, anywhere. Because I always love the ideal of a traveling champion. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun to connect things. Like right now, I represent 2 companies that are thousands of miles away from each other. I represent Arizona's Thunder Mountain Wrestling, and I represent West Virginia's Battleground Wrestling. So, to be able to bring 2 things together that most likely never would have met and take them to other companies. Yeah. So anybody, I'd love anyone. I don't care.
That's awesome too, because most people don't even leave the state, let alone defending championships from one side of the country and another side of the country.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. It's wrestling, and it's I'm trying to go balls to the wall with it, and I've got more things planned that I want to do this year. So and that's just on the agenda. That's on the list. I want to make these titles mean something. That way, if the day ever comes, somebody beats me, that's they're going to carry a lot of history and a lot of heritage with those championships.
That's awesome. Let's see. November 8th and 9th, you're at the Marietta Monster Mash in Marietta, Ohio. That's a convention, right?
Hell yeah, man. It's their 3rd year. It's the 3rd year that they've been running. Dahlia Page, she's been booked all 3 years. Last year, they booked me with her. And then this year, they booked me again. It's a fantastic, con that's really picking up and it's catching steam, and it's becoming something. And to be in a place like Marietta, Ohio, to have a little convention like that, dude, they always bring out the coolest people. Like the first year they had Miko Hughes from Pet Cemetery, the kid that gets ran over by the semi. He's awesome. I told him, I was like, you know what, man? And we got this on film too. I said, I still think that you're that kid. Like, I'm not even going to, like, you're my age. Like, you are my age, but I still think of you as that kid, not the kid from Kindergarten Cop where you talk about penises and vaginas.
Yeah.
But I think of you as the Pet Cemetery Baby, or even Wes Craven's New Nightmare. You know, like so that was cool. They had him. Author Bill Perry was there the first year. He's a stunt man that was a stunt man in like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 through 5. He did People Under the Stairs. He's the gang leader in Predator 2 on the subway. I'm really close with him. He's actually wrote a forward, an introduction, I guess is what you would call it, for the slasher novel that I've been working on for the past year plus. I got an introduction in my book from him, and I've got an introduction in my book from Brett Wagner, who played Leatherface for the beginning of Texas Chainsaw remake from 2003 when he hits Kirk in the head with the sledgehammer and slams the door. That's Brett Wagner. That's before Andrew Bernarski took over. So he wrote an introduction in my book that I'm working on. But then like last year they had Bob Elmore, who was the stuntman in Texas Chainsaw 2 for Leatherface. So I got him to sign my Part 2 Chainsaw replica. That was awesome. So this year, you know, they're starting to release the names. I got some wrestlers this year, aside from me and Paige. So, if you're in the area, come check it out, man. It's a good little con. It's fun.
They need to remake People Under the Stairs. I need to see a reboot of that.
I wouldn't mind it. You know, I never get to I used to get annoyed with reboots growing up, remakes and stuff, reimaginings, whatever you want to call them. I used to get really frustrated with it, but I don't know. I got to a point to like, okay, let's go see, because the way I always view it now is like, it's kind of like you're sitting at a campfire with somebody tells a story. Fast forward a year later, you're at a campfire, but the person that told that story is not there. So you're going to tell a version of that person's story. And then that's how I approach it all now. It's like that.
Yeah. Before I let you go, what's something you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
A fuck ton. Let's a lot. Damn, that's a loaded question, man. Something I know now. Slow down, take your time. Slow down, take your time. Stop, smell the roses, take photos, get the footage, enjoy. And anybody in your life, whether they're related to you or not, if they do nothing but slow you down and hurt you, cut them out.
Yeah.
Cut them out, no matter how bad it hurts, because if they loved you the way you love them, they wouldn't make your life as difficult as they make it. And it took me a long time to learn that. And if I'd figured that out 10 years ago when I was 24 and not 34 right now, it'd be a different world.
Oh, yeah. That's what people fail to forget. You can cut them out, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with cutting that person out that you've known for 15, 20 years, especially if they're toxic to you. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, you ain't got to hate them. Like you ain't gotta like slander them. You ain't even gotta like go out of your way to destroy them or stop them. Just cut them out.
Cut them out.
Now, granted, if they try to mess with you, give them a warning. Say, hey, you knock it off. Yeah. But it gets to, and then it gets to a point you're allowed to defend yourself, but you can cut them off. There's plenty of people that remove themselves from my life, and then I allowed them to remove themselves from my life, and I don't wish any ill will toward them. I wish them nothing but the best. I hope they're enjoying their life, and I hope the fact that I removed myself from their life has made their life better.
So. Great advice. Don't be scared. Go ahead and tell them where they can find you at.
I'm on everything, man. You just look up Evil Nate, Chainsaw Nate, anything. I'm in the new documentary on Tubi called Dinner with Leatherface. It's about the original Leatherface Gunnar Hansen. Okay. And Paige and I we're in that. And they actually gave me a really big part in it, talking about how he influenced my wrestling career when I met him.
That's cool.
You can watch that for free on Tubi. Oh, dude, it was an honor to be part of it. But I'm on all socials: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I think it's everything. I think just you look it up, man. I'm the hillbilly swinging the golden chainsaw and running my mouth when I don't have my mask on. And yeah.
Cool, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. I had a blast. Can't look forward to having another conversation with you.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It was really cool talking to you. Sorry I talk a lot.
That's what you're here for.
I know, but You know, some people might need a translator. You might have to put subtitles on this for my Appalachian, my Appalachian American accent, because I might sound like Boomhauer off King of the Hill. If I get too, I'm telling you, dude, if I get too hungry, too excited, or anything, I start burr, 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 and he's like, "What's he saying, man? What's this guy saying?" Like I've got to like enunciate like, "Hello, I am." Like I have to be that way sometimes. So, dude, thanks for having me. This was really fun, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Everybody have a good night. Go check them out.